We're not talking about the bladder problems and being energy depleted and being cranky and hot flashes. No, we are talking about the good things that can make perimenopause and menopause awesome-er. Yeah, so let's go on a walk. Gotta finish my tea. I seriously hope that I don't need another jacket because here's the thing. I am visiting Alberta, which has the craziest weather. I almost started this video yesterday, but it was snowy and I just did not want to depress you in May by doing that. So instead, what we're doing is going for a walk, and I'm wearing my hoodie. It's not that bad because it's sunny and beautiful today. And you know, the reason why I don't want to talk about all of the negative stuff is because this perimenopause / menopause part of life is a very, very big part of life. It's like 10 plus years. I mean, if you're getting to the postmenopause where things apparently settle down, it's better. But why would we only focus on the negative? There's so many things we can do to make this time of life awesome and amazing. So that is what we're going to talk about today. And the first one you might be able to guess. Now you might be like, well, where are we going, Robyn? We are on a bit of a quest for the very first two things that make menopause awesome. Yes, the first one is exercise. And you might be like, ugh, I want to be the very first to tell you that I did not like exercise for probably the first 20 years of my life. Now, I'm not saying I wasn't like a kid that enjoyed riding my bike, because I did, but I hated gym class. I quit it as soon as I possibly could because I was tired of being that kid that got picked last, that was bad at all of the things. I am a short lady and the boys never picked me. And in fact, in our family, we have this thing called developmental coordination disorder where our coordination is just not great. It's not like a huge issue unless you're like trying to play sports or like write. I mean, it can get better, but it is a bit of a challenge at first. And we were not a sporty family. I mean, my dad and my brother watched sports. I still to this day am very nostalgic of the sound of baseball in the background. But my dad, his best sort of activity and exercise was probably snow shoveling. So that's kind of like where I was. And for me right now, I'm realizing that at this stage in life, if I can get outside and go for a walk, especially on a beautiful day like this, I now am going to do it. But I was honestly not even raised that much with walking. My mom said she always wanted a man that would walk with her, and none of them would. And my husband, he'll go for walks with me, which is really nice. Now, whenever I visit Alberta here, when it is winter and this is frozen, because I have video of that, I still like to come and go for a walk here. I like to come to Calgary in February because it is bright and sunny, unlike gloomy Vancouver Island, which I love, but it's just not the same. So the other thing I did was yesterday, when it was all snowy and bleh, I worked out. I did an awesome workout from an Olivia Lawson video. You know I love her. She has awesome YouTube videos. She has ones that are not, you don't necessarily have to jump. Some are super easier, some are super hard. In fact, the one I did yesterday, I was exhausted. The video that I recorded, my face was so red because I was like, whoo, she got me. But the thing is, I don't necessarily always feel like exercise. But the thing is, yesterday when I was feeling super bummed about the weather still, because in Nanaimo where I live, because in Vancouver Island where I live, it was beautiful and sunny, and I was sitting here in a winter wonderland in May again, because this has happened before. I just was like, ugh. But I thought, okay, I still need to exercise. So I went, I did my Olivia Lawson workout, and I felt so good after. I put on my AirPods, which you know I love, and I was just listening to some awesome new wave music that I love to work out to, and I felt so good when I was done. And that's the thing with perimenopause, our moods can really be affected by the hormones or lack of hormones or just everything. Our tolerance is just so small. And for me, I just was like, exercise, it just makes me feel better. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't always feel like doing it. On a day like today, it's so easy to go for a walk. a couple days ago I went, it was sleet, it was snow. I was actually like crankier after, which is probably why it's good to work out at home. But that is number one. Now let's go do number two. Hi, can I please get a medium steep tea with 2 ml? Yeah. It is so nice to be here when it's not snowy. Oh my God. I love steep tea so much. Unfortunately, I think it aggravates my rosacea, but when I'm on vacation, I always get it. Crumpets and English muffins. I grew up, first of all, we named our cat Crumpet, but I grew up with English muffins and crumpets because that's what we thought was like healthy eating. And I'm not blaming my parents one bit because that is what everybody was taught. They were taught that was bad, but here's the thing. That isn't bad. Ridiculous sugars and carbohydrates are bad as much as they're delicious. And I'm not saying, in fact, a lot of people don't like the word bad, and I think that's true. It's not that they're bad, it's just that they're not something you want to have much of in excess. That delicious coconut yogurt, it's so good, especially the full fat kind. But it has a lot of sugar and a lot of fat, so I try not to have too much of it, but it's good. It's good. I used to think that oatmeal was super duper healthy, and now I realize, oh, like the flattened oats that are full of sugar are not. So now what I do is I do overnight oats, and I actually don't even do them overnight. I only let them sit for like half an hour in the freezer, and they're actually really good. Now, when I used to go away, we would just eat restaurants and takeout. And when I was a kid, there was not a lot of restaurants. So we always stopped at McDonald's, and it was a super special treat. But my body cannot take it. I'm just like too old or something now. So now I really focus on getting a lot of protein. Now that is where this section comes in. So I brought my protein cookies with me. You may have seen if you saw my packing video. And I will often go to, I love in like the US going to a store like this, but I just grab like protein, even like the drinks, we've brought them to Disneyland. I'm just thought I would point out to you that this is what we do because Lord knows we're not gonna be buying any meat. So whenever I'm on vacation anywhere, I buy a few things, like I said. And the thing I bought was like a cucumber. So now I've got my tea and my cucumber and some hair clips that are in my pocket. And I have to walk back to their house like this, which feels very weird. Does anybody else get hot after a walk? Okay, I am gonna heat this up. I don't like cold tea. I like hot tea. Nutrition is absolutely crazy. I did not realize how much changing my nutrition, even in my 40s, even tweaking it further than I already had in my 30s, would make such a big difference. I used to love having bread and toast, peanut butter toast for breakfast. Absolutely my favorite breakfast. To this day, I just never ever eat it because it causes like these blood sugar spikes. And I'm not like exaggerating the problem or just like talking about something that isn't of consequence for a non-diabetic. If you're diabetic, it's even worse. But there's so many things that we traditionally have eaten that we didn't even realize actually were doing us a disservice. And it's not until we're in our 40s and 50s that it is so impossible to ignore. It's like, and I've talked about this before, it's like when you're in your 20s and you have a hangover, it's not that bad compared to when you're in your 40s and you have like one drink and you're like, oh my God, I feel terrible. Or God forbid you have like 2 or 3 drinks. It's just brutal. And it's the same, like you can't ignore these things. And when I started tweaking what I eat and starting eating a lot more fruits and vegetables, especially vegetables, actually, like not even fruits. Like I eat fruits at the end of a meal because it's basically a dessert because it's full of sugar. But since I started eating so many more vegetables and starting my meals with vegetables, that has made such a big difference. And there are so many things that I love. I mean, I like to eat, I'll eat chips. I will eat cookies. I will eat all of these things, but I just eat it in moderation. And I really use the glucose goddess's way that she does things where she eats like her vegetables first. Because the thing is like fruits and vegetables, they're so so good for us. Vegetables in particular. I now eat probably like 5-ish servings of vegetables every day. On vacation, it's a little bit less. And that's actually why I go to the store, because I don't want to eat like a bunch of vegetables somebody had planned for meals and stuff. Like my dear sister-in-law, who I love so much here. I don't want to be like, oh, I ate all of your peppers. Oh, you were going to cook those for dinner? Like, no. But I will go to the store and I will buy things. So today I bought a cucumber. This is just a little while later. I have put my hair up because that is often what I do. I'm looking for a cutting board. I found one. Is this how you open a cucumber? Like a heathen? Because that's how I do it. I just cut it off. And then I just do that. I peel it. And then I wash it. Now at my own house, I literally just stick this back in the fridge like that. And then I cut the end off. But here, I'm going to put a bag on it. So I just literally eat my veggie like this, because I just eat it before I eat the rest of my meal. And it just makes it, number one, you eat way more vegetables this way. And number two, it really slows down your blood sugar spike. And my gut is as happy as it's ever been. Okay, I struggle with this every time, every single time. How do I do this? How do I do this? There we go. Yes, there we go. All right, I make some egg. That's the good stuff. I like eggs. Do you like eggs? It's a good source of protein. Not really enough, even with the 2 eggs, but that's okay. A little silly. I'm gonna put some cheese right on my eggs. It's not really silly. It's just not something I normally do. And I just want you to know, I have the best family. My brother and my sister-in-law are like, my husband is my best friend. These two are my other best friend. Love them. There we go. Okay, now I'm in dire need of a spatula, like quickly. I'm using a spatula to flip. Look, this is almost slippery enough. Oh boy, am I gonna make a mess? Oh, I did it! Oh my gosh! Oh, it's the happiest day of my life. Yummy. I love eggs. That's good with that cheese. Now, another super duper important thing that I think is so overlooked by us perimenopausal, even like premenopausal women who are busy with their kids and post, of course, is friendship and hanging out. And that is why I'm happy to hang out with you, to sit and to chat and to read your comments and all of the talking that we can do. And one of the things I was talking about recently in one of my videos was that it's so nice now that we can discuss these things like the menopause and the perimenopause, where I don't know if my mom and her friends were doing that back not that long ago, really. And now it is everywhere. People are talking about this. And I think that's awesome because, like I said, this is a 10-ish year, just the perimenopause part. And then there's the menopause and then the postmenopause, although menopause is technically one day. But it honestly is just such a huge part of a woman's life. And why can't we talk about it more? Why is it just coming out now in 2024? Like, look at the number, 2024. That's a big number. And now we can finally talk about it. I'm so glad. So I love that we can sit and chat. And one of the things I do is I go for dinners with some friends as much as I can. And it is hard, especially when our kids are busy and taking us places. But I think it's so important for us to prioritize that. Can I show you the Lego in this house? Just as a quick intermission, since I can't show you my disabled cat Crumpet, I thought I would just show you the very awesome Lego collection that my brother and my sister-in-law have. Look at the Hocus Pocus house. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. This is a lighthouse, the Home Alone house. I actually have this mid-build, but I actually don't build the Lego. I just let my family build the Lego for me. We have a huge Lego collection in our house, which is our sort of like guilty pleasure as minimalists. And yeah, like super, look at this like little medieval village. I think I have something similar there, but it's super fun. I just thought I would do that little intermission. You know, I'm sitting here, got my hair up now, and I just want to come back and say a couple more things. Different tea. Isn't that the cutest cup? I assume it's my sister-in-law. She is literally the best person. I love her. But I wanted to say, I think that friendship is so overlooked, especially by women, busy women. And we are so busy raising our kids. And then all of a sudden, they hit teenagehood, and maybe life slows down, or maybe you're driving a lot. But there comes a point where then they leave the house and we're sort of stuck being like, whoa, like where did my occupation go, whether or not you're working or not? Like my thing that I do, driving around, taking kids here and there, it's gone. And making sure my kids are eating well and this and that. And I think it's just so important that we find people to connect with. And we can say like, hey, I'm glad you're alive when I'm alive. We're in this together. We're living during this crazy period of time, and we can just laugh about anything. We can talk about the books we're reading or the music or the concerts we're going to. Went to a concert, and I'm just so glad that we can connect. I love that YouTube is a thing where we can sit down and, you know, yes, I am like chatting, but I love reading the comments. I love when we do live streams. And there's so much like, there are so many highs and lows in life. And I'm an optimist, but life can get me down. And like I said, like exercise helps and stuff like that. I'm also an introvert. I really, really, really like / need time to myself. However, when I do connect with my people, whether it's like dinners with friends or even like a live stream with you guys or Zoom calls, it just does something. Like it just feels so good to connect with people and just to chat and just to learn. And that's why I'm always like, where are you from? What are you doing? Like even like showing you the grocery store. Like maybe you were like, oh, that's what like a Canadian grocery store looks like. Like that's an Alberta grocery store. Like I'm not even usually in an Alberta grocery store. But like when we go to Mexico, for example, I had never been. And I was like, I want to see this grocery store. I've been to other countries before. And I'm like, I need to see the grocery. In the US, their stuff is better there, but it's just fun. And it's just nice to learn about other people and to connect. And I love to hear about people growing up. Like for me, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. Like the 90s were such a fun time for me to grow up in. I love to chat about that. And I loved to hear my dad talk about growing up and my mom and my grandparents. Like my grandpa has Alzheimer's, but he can still remember tons of stuff to do with that. And I love to chat about that. And that's why like connection with people is so important, and I love it so much. That's even more Lego right there. So I think it's so important that, like, number one, I love watching YouTube videos where I feel connected with the person that I'm watching, like you're watching right now, and hopefully you feel connected. The other thing is like planning, getting together with people. One of the big determinations of like longevity and of like preventing dementia is socialization. So if we can make sure that we're connecting with people. And if I think about my mother-in-law and my mom, actually, they see their friends. They make time to see their friends and their family. And like my mother-in-law, every Thursday, she has coffee with her friends. In fact, my husband the other day was like, oh, I don't know where my mom was. I went by to see her. And I'm like, well, it's Thursday. She's visiting her friends. So I think it's just so important. And I love connecting with you guys. And that is why I wanted to create this new channel. Instead of me just being like, oh, this is how you declutter, I can be like, hey, here are all of the awesome things that we can do to make life better. We can declutter. We can look at what we're doing for perimenopause and stuff. I love to cook and garden, so I take you along with that. And I like to do that. Now, one of the important things that a lot of people struggle with is energy. And check out this video here because I explain some of the research I had done and how I was combating low energy. I hope something great happens for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.